I got a grilled chicken sandwich from Cookout. My hair is falling perfect. There's trash everywhere. So adorbs. So we're on Wi-Fi now. So we got Wi-Fi. Thank God. Let's throw this away. Trash everywhere. So I had a chicken sandwich from Cookout. It was pretty decent. It was alright. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst, you know? The chicken was a little overdone. A little overdone. Y'all, tell me why I'm so mean. Can somebody tell me why I'm mean? I don't mean to be. I think it's that I'm guarded. Honestly, I think I'm just super guarded. I mean, it's sad when you can't trust anybody, you know? And I haven't been able to for years. So, I don't know. I just feel like an asshole sometimes when I like blow people off. But you have to. Not everybody deserves access to you, honey. And matter of fact, you're better off if they don't have access to you in any form, because it doesn't take long for people to show their true colors. You stay away from them long enough and just, talk to them and court them, and you see why they're single. Trying to bring me down. I don't know, man. I was thinking, though, I was like, I need to get to where I need one of those handheld recorders. I'm not even lying, because I have some of the greatest freaking thoughts sometimes, and then I lose it because I can't remember it. There was something I wanted to tell y'all about living your, allowing people to have access to you. I completely forgot. It's something to do with codependency. Anyways. At least I found why. Let's talk about this. Let me turn around and get comfortable. My sandwich was so good. I feel better after eating a little bit, These pants are huge, but it's okay. At least they're comfortable. So let's talk about the Department of Homeland Security. This is Ken Cuccinelli. Is that Cuccinelli? Cuccinelli? Is that who that is? So this is the primary recommendation from Ken. He says that we are screwed. And I actually trust him over the Biden administration. I think that we can trust just about anybody over the Biden administration. It says our primary recommendation, most of which I agree with. I'm going to read it to you. It says our primary recommendation is that the president pursue legislation to dismantle the Department of Homeland Security. After 20 years, it has not gelled to one DHS. Instead, its various components, different missions, have outweighed its decades-long attempt to function in one department, rendering the whole disjointed rather than cohesive. So it's saying that nobody is working together, nobody is in unison, things are not going well when it comes to the Department of Homeland Security. It's a mess. It says breaking up the department along its mission lines will facilitate mission focus and provide opportunities to reduce overhead and achieve more limited government. In lieu of a status quo DS, we recommend that, and their recommendation is to join U.S. U.S. Customs and Border Protection and ICE together. Here's one thing that I really don't understand is why is it two departments when they're supposed to be working towards the same mission? And that's what this says, is that a lot of these departments are not cohesive, and because of that, things are not going well. And we see that in the immigration issues that we're currently having in this country. So they're saying in their recommendation that money could be saved, things could be easier, and several offices need to come together. So it says that the BP, ICE, and the USCIS and HHS, which is Health and Human Services, and for Refugee Resettlement, the OOR, and the Department of Justice, and Executive Office for Immigration, the EOIR, all of these places should be combined. There should be no reason that these are departments. They're all working. They're all supposed to be working towards the same goal. So, but they're not. And that's what this report shows, is that things are really a mess. It's not good. And you know, I've been complaining for 4 years that nobody knows how to do their job anymore. Seems I'm not the only one that feels that way, huh? I mean, for them to get a group of 400 specialists together and experts and, you know, yeah, and then write this. I mean, this is really bad. I would love to see one of the ones that they wrote in the 80s, one of the mandate for leaderships, to see how different it is in comparison to today. It says they also want to, so the Security and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, be moved to the Department of Transportation. They want this CISA to be combined with the Department of Transportation. They recommend the Federal Emergency FEMA. They recommend that FEMA be moved to the Department of Interior if combined with CISA to the Department of Transportation. So as you see, they're wanting to kind of make things more cohesive. They want to bring things together where there is no one out of the loop as to what's going on in each department, because that's the problem. They're so separated. The Biden administration has made it to where we have criminals, known criminals, being able to come here, get money, get housing, commit crimes, and get out with no bond. And it's because all of our departments are not working together. And sorry, I gotta block these two because they come back every single day with the same rhetoric. So yeah, they're saying that things need to be combined, that we need to be working towards the same goal, that there should be no questions when it comes to ICE and the Department of there should be no questions when it comes to U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and ISIS. We're seeing that these people have no clue what is going on when they're supposed to be working towards the same goal. It shouldn't be happening. It says that the U.S. Secret Service should be divided into two, with the protective element moved to the DOJ and the financial enforcement element moved to the Department of Treasury. I can only imagine why that is. Who is over using funds? Gee, I wonder. Transportation Security Administration be privatized. The TSA, they want it to be privatized. I don't know why that is. We can look into that later. It's all of the remaining supporting components could be dismantled because of their functions already exist in the moving components as well as the receiving departments. Cutting these costs would save the American taxpayers significant sums. See, this is what the left doesn't want you to know. They don't want you to know that the right is actually fighting to reduce taxes and lower the cost of things. So I'm going to cut the comments off because, once again, a few idiots is making everybody be punished. Sorry. I have something to say, and I'm going to say it whether or not you're running your mouth or not. I'm not listening to yours. You're here listening to mine. Unless, let's see here. So it says that it could cut taxpayers significant sums. Unless and until this dismantling recommendation is pursued and achieved, DHS will statutorily continue to exist, and it needs many reforms accordingly. We now turn to recommended changes in the DHS as it exists now. Mission statement: the Department of Homeland Security protects the American homeland from and prepares for terrorism and other hazards in both the physical and cyber realms, provides for secure and free movement of trade and travel, and enforces the U.S. immigration laws impartially. Yeah, we're not doing any of that. Overview. The Department of Homeland Security was created in the aftermath of the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, the subsequent mailings of anthrax spores. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this, but I remember this, and people were terrified. My mama and papa wouldn't even check the mail. Like they would rather have their water cut off than check the mail and risk getting anthrax poisoning. They were mailing it in the mail, and it was envelopes. Imagine a white envelope, and it would have a powder residue in the bottom of it, and then you open it, you breathe it in, and you die. It was a real thing, and it was huge panic, and there were people getting anthrax poisoning left and right. And this is why we have the Department of Homeland Security. And here we have what? Millions of illegal immigrants crossing over the border, killing Americans, when it is the Department of Homeland Security's job, to prevent this from happening. It's just unfathomable how we even got here. So it says that this department was created in the aftermath of the anthrax spores and 9/11. Homeland Security Act of 2002 created the department. States that DHS primary mission is to prevent terrorist attacks within the United States, reduce the nation's vulnerability to terrorism, minimize the damage from, and assist in recovery from any terrorist attack. So if we had one, they would come and assist with helping the victims of the attack if we had one. Prepare and respond to natural and man-made crises and emergencies, and monitor connections between illegal drug trafficking and terrorism. They're not doing any of this. Coordinate efforts to serve such connections and I literally looked up how to say this. It pretty much stop illegal drug trafficking. Interdict illegal drug trafficking. It means to prevent. They're not doing any of that. It says, unfortunately for our nation, the federal government's newest department became like every other federal agency, bloated, bureaucratic, and expensive. It also lost sight of its mission priorities. I agree. DHS has also suffered from the left wokeness and weaponization against Americans, whom the left perceives as its political opponents. Yo. Y'all know I have a problem putting things into words. So when I read this stuff, it's like, this is exactly what I was feeling. I just didn't know how to put it into words. I can see it happening. All of our failed organization, departments, and, I can see it happening. I'm just not supposed to put it into words. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And these are people that we're supposed to be able to trust with our lives. Their job is to make sure that we live. And they're just letting illegal immigrant after illegal immigrant over the border to commit more crimes. Now, here's the thing. I have no problem with legal immigration. I've said that time and time again. If you want to come and go to the port of entry and get the proper paperwork and take the necessary steps, baby, I wish you well on your American dream. I wish you well. And if I know that you're a small business owner here that's an immigrant, I would rather give you my money. I would rather spend money in your business. So it says to truly secure the homeland, a conservative administration needs to return the department right to the mission, the right size and the right budget. This would include reorganizing the department and shifting significant resources away from several supporting components to the essential operation components. My foot is asleep. It's saying that we need to stop spending money on stupid shit and focus what our mission was, which was to, to prevent these things from happening again. We need to be surveilling people and damn figure these 400 members of ICE are. Can y'all believe that? Our government comes to us and says, yeah, don't worry about it. We know that there's at least 400 members of ISIS on United States soil, but we don't know where they are. But don't you worry. And people don't. And that's the problem. And that's going to lead to something horrible if we don't wake the hell up. So it says prioritizing border security and immigration enforcement, including detention and deportation, is critical if we are going to regain control of the border, repair the historic damage done by the Biden administration, return to a lawful and orderly immigration system, and protect the homeland from terrorism and public safety threats. This also includes consolidating the pieces of the fragmented immigration system into one agency to fulfill the mission more efficiently. Now, we see with this Biden administration that ICE puts it on DHS, and then DHS puts it off on ICE, and then ICE puts it off on the ORR. You see what I'm saying? We're getting the runaround, and it all have the same mission: to secure and protect. And they are ethically bound to do that by law, and they're not doing it. I mean, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I do believe that we're going to see the consequences of this administration's actions for years to come. It says the bloated DHS bureaucracy and budget, along with the wrong priorities, provide real opportunities for a conservative administration to cut billions in spending and limit government's role in American lives. These opportunities include privatizing TSA screenings and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, National Flood Insurance Program, reforming FEMA emergency spending to shift the majority of preparedness and response costs to states and localities instead of the federal government, eliminating most of DHS's grant programs and removing all unions in the department for national security purposes. Oh, wow. See, I'm a lot when I'm reading this too, because it's like, what? Wait a second. Why were there unions? What? Who thought that was a good idea? It says eliminating most of DHS and removing all unions from the department for national security purposes. And so some of their key points is to secure and control the border, thoroughly enforce immigration, correctly and efficiently adjudicate immigration benefit applications while rejecting fraudulent claims, secure the cyber domain and collaborate with critical infrastructure to maintain their security, provide states and localities, I hope I'm saying that right, with a limited federal emergency response and preparedness. Oh, shoot. Secure our coast and economic zones, protect political leaders, their families, and visiting heads of state or government, oversee transportation security. Something else I wanted to read, y'all. I mean, does this sound like they're trying to take over the world, Pinky? Really? No, it sounds like they're trying to bring some damn order, sense into the madness. And I am here for it, honey. I am here for it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if we don't do it now, it's never going to get. Like I said, I don't care if they just pass one or two things and fix two things out of this entire mandate. I would love to see that one or two things fixed. Because there's so much that's messed up. There was more about, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP. Hold on one second. They want to merge. I told you that. CBP, ICE, USCIS. They want to merge all of them together. Oh, here it is. It says, order ICE to stop closing out pending immigration cases and apply the Immigration and Nationality Act as written by Congress. The Biden administration closed out tens of thousands of immigration cases that had already been prepared and were slated for expedited removal. So these people had already been in front of an immigration judge, and the judge had already said, you're going to be deported. And the Biden administration, when they took office, tens of thousands of people were just let off the hook. Regardless if they were criminals or not, they were still let off the hook. It says this misguided action constituted an egregious example of lawlessness that allowed tens of thousands of illegal aliens and other immigration violators to go free in the United States. And it says thousands, not 10,000s, but at the top it says tens of thousands. It says issue clear guidance regarding detention and bond for illegal aliens. Thousands of illegal aliens are allowed to bond out of immigration detention only to disappear into the interior of the United States, where many commit crimes and others disappear, never to be heard from again. This occurs primarily because of poor worded bond regulations, contradictory bond policy memoranda, and poor practices for managing released aliens and ATD program. What is that? That's that freaking Biden administration, the alternative to detention. That's where just letting them sign themselves out with no money down, a promise to appear in court. But what we're seeing is most of these people are not showing up to court, and then they just disappear. And that is the alternatives to detention. That is a Biden program that they made, and it's a horrible program. They're giving them incentives to run over that border. Come here, we'll feed you, house you, clothe you, educate you, give you a job, give you damn $10,000 to buy a food truck. You know, are we for real right now? It says, sorry. There's so much in here. Homeland Security investigations. Special agents in the 1811 series should enforce Title 8 18 crimes as the biggest part of their portfolio. Alien smuggling, trafficking, and cross-border crimes as defined under the Title 8, Title 18 should be the focus of ICE operations. It's not, though. They're saying that nobody knows how to do their job. I mean, that's all I've seen in the entire book thus far. That's all I've learned is that I was right, that nobody knows how to do their job. I'm frustrated for legitimate fucking reasons. I need to learn to have more patience because it's going to take a while for things to change around here. But I think realizing we have a problem is the first step, obviously. It says new policies. U.S. national security and public safety interests would be well served if ICE were to be combined with CPD, CBP, and USCIS as mentioned above. Additionally, ICE, HSI, along with CBP, should be full participants in the intelligence community. The use of Blackie's warrants, operation. I don't know what that is. Sorry. If I don't know something, I'm just scanning over it. Blackie's operation. I wonder what that is. Blackie's operation, U.S. government. It's a warrant. So it says to question alien or person found on the agri-processor's property to believe. Oh, so it's pretty much they can, is that, so it says that they can claim to be an alien as to his or her right to be or remain in the United States. So I guess they like file asylum. You get what I'm saying? They say like, oh, they're trying to kill me and here, there. I don't know. We can look into that later. So this is what I was looking for. These are the needed reforms. Since January of 21, the USCIS priorities have been misaligned, and this has transformed into an open border agency, ignoring the critical role it plays in national security, public safety, and safeguarding the integrity of the immigration system. USCIS should be returned to operating as a screening and vetting agency. Regulatory efforts have focused on easily asylum eligibility in a manner that is guaranteed to y'all know what I mean, asylum fraud as people surge through the border. Emphasis has also been placed on legal barriers to immigration, such as the use of public benefits. What have I been saying? They're giving them incentives. Yes, so all of the barriers to protect us from this happening and incentives being thrown out there, the Biden administration has changed laws, and it's clearly right here that they have not been focused on doing what they're supposed to do. It says that emphasis has also been placed on removal legal barriers. That means that they have literally changed laws to allow them to happen. These actions violate status, error code, congressional intent, and of public benefits. Yes, it's not in our damn benefits. These actions violate status, error code, congressional intent, and provide a significant magnet for continued illegal immigration. So they're saying that these people are making things worse. And we all know that they're doing it intentionally. If you don't know, let me tell you. They did. It says, additionally, the USCIS resources have been misappropriated to focus more on creating and expanding large-scale parole and temporary status programs that violate the law and that are otherwise contrary to congressional intent, instead of focusing on a more and efficient process for those who are seeking benefits. So the American people fall by the wayside, and they have built a system that benefits illegal immigrants, and Americans are just trash. They're just water under the bridge. They'll be fine. We're not fine. I don't know about y'all, but I'm living out of a car that I lose because I can't find a job. So I'm not fine. Oh, this is crazy. Because, this is why I'm broke. It's definitely impacted my life. If you watch my channel, then you know. I have personally dealt with illegal immigration at work. The ever-increasing number of applications filed has made it difficult to vet applications adequately for eligibility, fraud, and specific national security and public problems. Prioritize vetting and fraud detection. FDNS should undergo a structural shift focused on direct reporting from the field to headquarters, reclassification of leadership, and the FDNS directives taking precedence over those of other component entities. Correcting the current misalignment of agency priorities and resources should begin with this primary shift in focus to vetting and fraud detection. So they're saying that we have to be better about vetting these illegal immigrants that are coming through, but we now know that they're not being vetted at all. In fact, when they end up committing a crime, we're just letting them out of jail and then they disappear again. And when we were deporting them, we were just coming back over the border. Some of these guys that we have talked about that have committed horrible crimes, R-word, murder, most of those men have already been deported and been back and been deported. And they on their second, damn, third, fourth round, honey. We need a wall, and we need to actually work towards a goal together to prevent this from happening. It says, It says these actions would reform the agency, returning it to its screening and vetting mission in protection of the homeland. While the Biden, it says particular attention should be given to addressing increasing incidents of forced labor trafficking and temporary work visa programs. While the Biden administration Biden regulatory agenda has focused on at least two major rules: the credible fear rule and the public charge rule. USCIS applies other policy and internal procedural mechanisms to extend employment authorization to large groups of people who are in the country without legal status. So this is talking about these people who got these work visas. This is saying this is wrong and that the Biden administration is wrong. And I have to agree. It says the agency has taken quite steps to cut corners and lessons lessons, adjudicatory. Listen, y'all, some of these are just, it's a lot. This is a lot. I mean, I could spend a whole semester on all this book. Seriously, I'd probably learn much. I mean, I plan to read the whole book front and back 5 to 6 times. Maybe, I mean, shit, I've already learned something. That's what we going for. Any is better than nothing. So this says the regulatory agenda should include the immediate submission of notices of proposed rulemaking for the Trump administration's public charge rule, including aspects from its original notice of proposed rulemaking, temporary work visas reformed, employment authorization reform rules, asylum bar rules, and a third country transit rule. At a minimum, an enhanced regulatory agenda should include rules for strengthening the integrity of the asylum system, parole reform, and U visa reform that prioritize relief for victims of heinous crimes and ensures that we protect the truest and most deserving victims of crime. It says the incoming administration should spearhead an immigration legislative agenda focused on creating a merit-based immigration system that rewards high-skilled aliens instead of the current system that favors extended family-based and luck of the draw immigration. To that end, the diversity visa lottery should be repealed. Chain migration should be ended while focusing on the nuclear family, and the existing employment visa program should be replaced with a system to visas to only the best and brightest. You know, you want immigrants that are going to come to this country and be appreciative of the chance that they have. You want immigrants that are going to come, going to work, they're going to do the right things. They're not going to be in and out of jail. When we have immigrants that come and they're in and out of jail, and then they end up getting a life sentence because they done murdered, R-worded, and killed somebody, the taxpayers have to pay for that while they sit on death row for the next 60, 70, 80 years. It's not here. And there's tons of immigrants in other countries that would love to come here the right way, you know? And they don't get their chance because of illegal immigration. It says permanently authorize and make e-verify mandatory, and parole abuse by legislating specific parole standards. Repeal temporary protected status. Yeah, that's that. You can stay here. You're asylum seeker or whatever. It says, temporary protected status, the TPS. Improve the integrity of the temporary work visa programs. So because they've gave work visas to everybody, work visas are really not even that important anymore. It's devalued a work visa. It says, given the Obama and Biden administration's lack of will, fees should be increased agency. Y'all, I gotta stop. I haven't proofread this, and that's why I can't read it. I have to proofread everything. So we'll just stop here for today, because this is getting like, I'm sweating. I'm literally sweating. It's hard. Like, learning is hard. It's not easy. I also haven't had any nicotine. It says, There's a whole section on unaccompanied minors. I think that would be important to read. Maybe throw something. So far, under chapter 5, let me get the Department of Homeland Security. We have learned that the Department of Homeland Security was invented after 9/11 in lieu of the terrorist attacks and all of the people, the almost 3,000 people that lost their lives that day. It was also because of the anthrax that was being mailed to people all over the country, and people were dying from this. So the Department of Homeland Security was created. But in the past 20 years, it's become a hot mess express. And there definitely needs to be some reform or something that takes place, because it's a mess. And once again, all of these agencies are putting the bill off on the next agency and lying. I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of missing children, and everybody's just acting like it's not a big thing. And it was the department, the lady of the ORR that is responsible for these children. Now she's in front of Congress, but did anything happen? No. And that's what we're seeing time and time again. We need to get these people out of there. Out of there. Scammers, scammers. Y'all scammers. I want it a little darker. So I am headed to ask about a job. Whatever. You know? Like, honestly, here's the thing though. Most of the places that I walk into and ask if, like, they're hiring for a bartender, I don't know, dude. It's not the type of place, like, you know, for girls like me. I don't know what else to say. Like, seriously. I get attitude from people for existing. But it's okay. I know it's nothing to do with me. Sometimes walking into these places, everybody turns around and it just makes you feel uncomfortable. It's like, I need a job. I mean, being too good. And that's the thing. Y'all know I don't put a lot of weight in my looks. I don't put a lot of weight in my looks. I've said this before. I'm not a vain person. It's why I don't take a lot of pictures. It's why I'm not obsessed with filters and stuff like that. Like, I'm happy with me. But a lot of other people put a lot of weight in my looks. And I can tell it just causes problems. It just causes problems. Not me. They have problems with, like, I guess me being around them makes them assess themselves. You know what I mean? And so it's a constant issue. And I've heard of pretty people problems before. It's only been recently that when I got clean 4 years ago that I started taking a look at how I actually got treated. And I'm like, wait a second. I don't treat people that way. I never have. Why are they treating me that way? Why am I getting bullied by every woman out here that weighs over 150 pounds? But yeah, that's why I tell people to focus on themselves and be happy with themselves, because it literally, I've seen old ladies get bitter, you know. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Old bitter women mad at the world. I hope to never be like that. I know I'm angry, but I ain't bitter, bitch. I have anger problems. I'm done. I have anger problems. At least I know that, though. Trying to keep all these. Sorry, I thought I was like showing something. Trying to keep all these things charged up is really hard in here. I'm gonna go, you guys. I'm gonna run by these places. I gotta go find a bathroom, number one. I wanted a milkshake, but I don't know. The cookout, I don't trust it. The end of my chicken sandwich was burnt, but it's okay. I ate it anyways because I was hungry. Probably, if you want to, y'all can come join me. I'll probably go to bed with you guys. You know what I mean? Like, we can get up before bedtime because I'm going to bed early. I want to get up and train. early while nobody's in the gym. But y'all have a good afternoon. Go get you some dinner. That's what I'm going to do. I'm still hungry after that chicken sandwich. That's another thing. Those chicken sandwiches from Cookout used to be like big. They're not anymore. That piece of chicken was tiny. I said, I got scammed. I got scammed. Y'all ready? Bye, y'all. Y'all have a good afternoon. We'll talk soon. Y'all pray for me because God knows I need it. And I'm praying for y'all. Bye.